Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining our session today. This is a ThingLink spotlight on project-based learning with the Violence Prevention Certification Program. We are very honored to welcome Dr. Jason B. Willis. He is the Program Director of the Violence Prevention and Community Wellness Initiative. I'm also joined by Julian King. Thank you, Julian. So let's go ahead and get started. So our goal for our session today is really to think about how do we use ThingLink to develop dynamic visual experiences to help students learn better, but also present their information. Have not used Zoom, or if you're not super familiar, let's just quickly go over some of the tools here on your screen. You'll see in the lower left corner, you'll have that unmute microphone icon as well as the start video. Feel free to start your video if you would like. We also have the chat box. We'll be monitoring the chat box throughout the workshop today. If you do have any questions, you can also put those in the chat box. Last but not least, you can give us some love. Click on the reaction button. You can give us a thumbs up or a heart. If you'd like to change your skin tone for your emojis, you can go ahead and click on those three dots. And in the lower right corner, you'll see that thumbs up icon. Click on that, and that's how you change your skin tone. Feel free to go ahead and practice that right now if you'd like. Give me a thumbs up or some love. Makes me feel good. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Julian. Perfect. So our agenda for our workshop today is first, we'll do a quick overview of what is ThingLink, and I'll also show you how to access this from within our UDC system. I'll also do a faculty spotlight with Dr. Jason B. Willis. He'll be having a conversation with Julian, and they'll also be showing some great examples from students of their ThingLink pieces. And then to end, I'll talk about how to use the Google Street View app to take your own 360-degree photos and then upload those to the ThingLink app where you can start annotating them and even view them in VR. Finally, we'll end with some next steps and talk about any questions that you may have throughout. So let's get started. So for our workshop today, there are two things that we'll be utilizing throughout. The first is ThingLink. You can have this on your computer, on your iPad or tablet, or your phone. I do recommend downloading that right now if you'd like to participate, or if you'd like to watch this afterwards and then follow along with me. The second app is the Google Street View app. This is available for an iPad or tablet or your smartphone device. So if you have these two apps downloaded on your phone as you watch along, that will help you to get started even faster. But this is recorded. It will be uploaded to our YouTube channel. So first, what is ThingLink? ThingLink is a really great way to present information visually and make it interactive. So here's what I did with this example. You can see this is the Center for Digital Access and Learning floor plan. So it's a map, but I added these hotspots or tags to this map that are clickable. So let's say I want to learn more about the learning pods. I'll click on that star. It will give you some information here. You can also reserve. It'll take you right to that website once you click on that link. Another great thing about ThingLink is it includes screen readers and accessibility features already within the app. So if I turn this on and I click on the immersive reader, that will take you to the immersive reader screen reader. Let's see an example.
Learning pods. The learning pods are individual cubicles that provide students with a low-risk setting to study or attend online classes. Printing, photocopying,
so as you can see here, there are a lot of built-in features already. So ThingLink is a great tool because you can really make any media really interactive. It can be a still shot, it can be a video, it can be a 360 photo or video as well that you can view in VR on top of that. So you can add different text, different web links, images, video. There's also different tools you can add some polls as well. And the integrated immersive reader really brings accessibility to the forefront and really makes it more readable for your students. One of the great things about ThingLink that we really enjoy is that it really helps to facilitate students making their own VR content. So in this example, I made a ThingLink of one of our rooms, and I can view it on the headset. So here's a video from one of our Oculus Quest 2 headsets. And you can see in VR, if I'm not available on campus, or if I want to see how this room looks like in VR, I'm moving it around and I can click on different objects and learn more about what's in this exact room. And this is something that I was able to create just from my phone using Google Street View, upload it directly to ThingLink. Works really, really well. And to preface our conversation with Dr. Willis, let's watch a quick video from the violence prevention program, and Dr. Kevin Norton will talk about how he used ThingLink. We'll also hear some feedback from students on how it made this content a lot more immersive. Let's watch.
Is that we're able to provide pieces about our curriculum is that we're able to provide our students with immersive experiences. We use cutting-edge technology such as ThingLink, which is an application where our students are able to build tours and presentations of their community by mixing and matching still photos, articles, media, and 360-degree video. This allows our students in a safe environment to point out their community's social disorganization and areas that might benefit from CEPTED or crime prevention through environmental design. Within their videos, the students are also able to add hotspot buttons, which provides them an opportunity to provide additional information for the viewer or specific details about the community. The use of technology is critical as we live in a world where much of our community mobilization and relationship building is now done through media or done virtually.
ThingLink was a very important piece because now I can take, my supervisors and their supervisors who just sit at the desk all day and they're not in the community, or whoever it is that's not in the community, hands-on like we are. I can take them to their virtual reality so they can see the hotspots, so they can see the killings and the shootings in that area. It can be mapped out to the point where now they understand the work. They understand how important it is to have relationships. They understand why safety is important and how strong and credible we are to even do the work that we do.
The ability to do the virtual reality piece, the 360, being able to actually go into the community and pick out the places that I know it's not necessarily getting the supportive services or not necessarily being targeted, but I know that they need those supports. Being able to actually show the individuals using the virtual reality piece, that was pretty dope. That was one of my, that's one that I'm definitely going to take with me. I'm a 360 everything, like, because that's how, I just think it's pretty dope because it puts you actually in the space of the community that you're talking about. It makes you feel like you're actually there and you can actually see. It tells a story, if that makes sense.
I also like the ThingLink because once you start mapping out, you can map out the hotspots. So if I'm an outreach worker or if I'm a supervisor, I can now assign my outreach workers and violence interruption workers to go hit this spot because it's a lot of high-risk and at-risk youth there, and it'll allow me to work with them and get them high-risk individuals resources.
So it's been wonderful to work with the Violence Prevention and Community Initiative to really integrate ThingLink into their course. And as you heard from the students, it really makes this content more dynamic and it brings people to these areas that they normally would not go to. So with that, I'm going to hand it off to Julian and I'll have a conversation with Dr. Jason B. Willis.
Well, thank you, David. For those who do not know, my name is Julian King. I am our Learning Design Coordinator here at the C.A.L team. And I am blessed to be with my brother, somebody who's helped us kind of bring this initiative, bring this program to the forefront, especially for our DC residents. Dr. Jason B. Willis, he is our program director for the Violence Prevention Community Wellness Initiative. So great to have you, Dr. Willis.
Can't tell you how much of a pleasure it is to be with you today, Julian.
Awesome, the pleasure is all ours. So just a few questions about your use case for ThingLink, and especially in that violence prevention certification program. Why did you start using ThingLink for your course?
I think for our course, having the understanding that we are trying to bring along all the people and agencies that work in violence prevention to develop a common language, to make sure that the things that we present from an evidence-based perspective are grounded in data, are academically rigorous. But there's also a challenge for what are we going to do next step? And how can we include experiences, immersive experiences in this case, to be on the pioneering edge, to be on the cutting edge. And more importantly, what I really appreciate about this tool that the C.A.L department brought forward very early on in this process and across this project, I really appreciate the way that the virtual reality experience allows individuals who might not have had positions of power to be empowered, and to take that ability using ThingLink and the 360 and immediately begin to transition it into their communities, into their places of work, their personal usage, and ensuring that there's an element of safety within the nexus of the work that we do, violence prevention. You know, in full disclosure, ThingLink has utility across many agencies, many modalities of learning. It's completely on the front edge of the way in which we're trying to intervene on violence in communities, the way that we're trying to true up resources and how resources are delivered to people that need them the most. And I think that sometimes there's a detach in our current system whereby those making decisions at the government level aren't always understanding how it's materializing on the front lines. And so with a process and a project like this, to be able to use ThingLink to make alive the content of the people from the community, to have their voice as the experts in their space, is completely powerful and empowering in so many ways, not only from a student-based perspective, but from an inter and an intrapersonal perspective.
I appreciate that, and I think you bring a lot of great details about how this tool kind of brings those people into the environments that they are ultimately making decisions for, but may not necessarily go into in a frequent enough basis to be able to make some of those database decisions that you are discussing. So I'll kind of lead to our next question and kind of shift it a bit. What would you tell instructors about getting started with ThingLink, and maybe some tips about how they could get started, or maybe how they could integrate it into their programs or their courses, or even their content?
Yeah, I think there's just so many applications. I think to answer the first part of the question, what would I tell instructors? The first thing I would tell instructors is give it a shot. It might look intimidating from the top and from the beginning, but once you have understanding of the application, you never lose it. It's like tying your shoe. And so we've found that with consistent work and professional development such as this in this area and in this space, people have made exponential leaps with their ability to use it proficiently in all of their work. So I think that the first thing I would say to instructors is give it a shot, sit down with the C.A.L team, allow them to come in. They have amazing instructors from their executive director all the way down to the grad students, and allow them to come in and show you, illustrate for you its utility. The second piece in terms of getting started with ThingLink is I always try to express to people, try to get paid to do what you love to do, right? And I think that this type of application can situate you regardless of what profession that you embark upon, right? So if I'm a mental health worker, I can map out areas in the community that I get calls for service, right? If I am a hospital-based worker, I can map out the different needs that people have when they come in and they need resources. If I'm a community and public health worker, I can map out so many different aspects of the ways that the community interfaces with agencies, right? Where are my pass-off? Who are my partner organizations? How far are they situated from the clients that I work with? So, it's really just your ability to use your professional savvy and your understandings from within the bandwidth of your organization to illuminate all of the ways that it has such utility. So I would just say get started with it, understand it first, practice it a little bit. Our students really benefit from the application and the ability to walk through it. And so I think that that's a great place to jump on in.
Thank you, Dr. Willis. And I think, we can both speak to our experiences being in the course and working with students on ThingLink and understanding that there are different technology levels that go with learning ThingLink. But we've had students who may not be the most tech savvy, have created wonderful presentations with just some additional support. So if you think that it's too much for you, please just take a chance, get started, and we're pretty sure that we can find the support for you and all of the students, no matter what your technology level may necessarily be when it comes to working with some of these applications and things of that nature.
100%.
So we're going to kind of shift gears and kind of move into our some student ThingLink examples we've had from our violence prevention course. If you like to speak about this, Dr. Willis.
Yeah, so first of all, I'll just speak to the intention of being able to utilize this. These things that you're seeing here are attached to entry-level theoretical principles that accompany violence prevention. So whether we're talking about social disorganization, Sean McKay, 1974, whether we're talking about Code in the Streets, Elijah Anderson, 1999, whether we're talking about life course theory and how its undulations of ways in which people have the ability to get off tracks that are, bad per se, or life tracks that are a thumbs down and move right to the projection of their life track being a thumbs up. And so all of this work is tied to theory. This is social disorganization. And so what you're seeing here is an area in Ward 8 of Washington, D.C. I believe there's only 2 places in the United States where Martin Luther King Boulevard crossed Malcolm X, and this is one. And if you go to that flower over there in the top right, Julian, that park is really problematic. A lot of folks talk about the hangout. You can attach, as you see the pictures, there's some environmental things with the high brush that don't allow for vision clearly, where there's multiple people, open drug markets, transient folks coming in and out of a corridor such as Prince George County coming to Ward 8. These things become areas that get extra attention or deserve extra attention. And sometimes the attention isn't, we can't arrest away problems. And we've proven that in the United States. But the area can benefit from environmental things, right? And so I think that that's to be able to manipulate the environment and illustrate what needs to be done. In a social disorganization, you're going to have liquor stores and fast food restaurants. You're going to have local hangout areas. These things are aesthetically comprise urban communities. What's unfortunate in this video, but certainly fortunate to be able to illustrate for those people that might drive funding to this space, is that oftentimes we have travesties that happen in our communities around violence. And so this situation here with the young lady who, I believe this little girl was 6 years old when a stray bullet hit her. Additionally, if you can link the article in that little globe down at the bottom of the light pole, and it brings you to what happened and when it happened. If you can tell by the article, this is July 29th, 2022, just a few months ago. This is very current information. This is real-time information and data. And so for anyone who is trying to drive resources to schools in this area, who might be developing a safe passage area, who might be worried about the lighting as students traverse communities to get to the bus stop, to go across county and to get home. These are the things that we want to think about collectively as a community as to what can I do environmentally? How can I bring this to life in a way in which I can really help folks that need it the most? So for the nature of this work, this is completely unique for us. What you're seeing in this video is a school. This is Ingenuity Prep in DC. And Ingenuity Prep is very unique in a couple of ways. It sits between competing neighborhoods. And so as you scroll, all of those kind of targets are homicides that have happened in the area, the Black targets. And that's July 19, 2022. If you click the next one, again, we're seeing that these are in short amount of times, July 28th, 2022. Kids go to school in these areas. Kids don't allow, there's, our schools are petri dishes of our community. And so the societal ills that are going on between 3rd, 4th Street, 5th Street, different competing group affiliated or gangs or blocks, these things become things that students can't avoid. And as you scroll to the You see all of the dark targets. Again, these are all homicides that have happened in a 3-year period between a school zone that sits directly naked in a high crime and high target area. So if I'm a school principal, I want to see a ThingLink. If I'm a school counselor, I want to see a ThingLink. I want to know the traumas that kids are coming to school with. I want to understand the parents and community. I want to do this in a way in which allows for me, right, to make better decisions because I have the bandwidth and I have more texture. And so ThingLink is a great way to add texture to any problem assessment, problem analysis, exploratory zone. It just brings to life so many things, the voice of whoever's trying to communicate whatever action needs to be taking place next. So we love when our students have those aha moments when they get it, and then when they situate beautiful projects like this that encapsulate the things that I'm asking from an academician standpoint and being academically rigorous, but that's your community. And so you feel different about it, and the texture of it is different. You care a little bit more. So that's a beautiful thing for us to see it come full circle. We had a young lady, she graduated our program in early October, and she doesn't have a high school degree. I think she only went to school through 11th grade. A week later, she was at one of our universities in Washington with the ThingLink up on the background, teaching a class, having been brought in as a guest speaker. So, you know, I can't imagine what that must feel like for her to kind of feel that she knows that she's doing something really, really good, and also being able to receive the residual positivity that comes from that. I think that that's completely brilliant, and certainly a byproduct, right, of having something like ThingLink and pioneering. So many people would understand how to be able to use it. I would ThingLink a bus route, right, for bus drivers to drive kids to school. Here's where you pick up at the house 43. Here's where you pick up at house 56. Here's where you make the right here and come around the loop. That's something that should be done already. We never lose a kid. We never have a drop off, right, if those buses have cameras. So in terms of like truing up quality control, it really is an endless amount of possibilities.
Thanks, Dr. Willis. And, you know, even speaking to that, you know, I'd like the point you're bringing about the data, being able to attach this data to this, because so many decisions that are made within DC and other states are data-driven decisions. Even in education, a lot of things we do are data-driven practices. So being able to include that data to kind of drive this tool and drive the application for this tool, I think is really appealing. In 5 years, every organization will use this tool. We'll just be the ones helping them along and bringing them along. I really think it's the new thing. It's pioneering. It's smart. You know, you have elements of empathy when you come into these communities, right? This situation VR, so I can literally walk you to wherever I want in my in said environment. So yeah, we just see so many applications for this in our space, but I think that it has so many applications that we haven't even begun to think about. I appreciate that. So, and we appreciate you, Dr. Willis, for, you know, joining us on this call, this webinar, giving your perspective on this and, you know, the usage for this tool. And, you know, we look forward to continuing the work and building off some of these great presentations so that we can definitely create even more and hopefully impact change in our Washington, DC community. Yeah, well, I certainly look forward to marching side by side. Julian, you know, you've been completely brilliant in your ability to bring this forward. I'd be remiss just not to stamp that this fits in our project in large part because of, you know, your lens and your expertise in our space, certainly those that flank you right and left. So again, to our CAL team at UDC, to Dr. Norton, to Dr. Potter, our Chief Academic Officer, you have to have people that are visionary and that have they have a vested interest and they're sharing, and we all share it in this success, and we really see it as such, really a success. So thank you very much for having me today. David, thank you. Thank you for just being careful and meticulous and thoughtful about the way that you present information and continuously move the needle forward. Thanks a bunch, buddy.
Thank you so much, Dr. Willis. I think all the points that you brought up, it's really highlighted so well. in these student-produced ThingLinks. And what I really love about ThingLink is that we wanted our students to have access to creating VR content. And this is a way that they have done this. You see all these images. These are all student-produced. And it's just amazing what your students have done. Thank you so much again, Dr. Willis.
Thank you.
Yep. Are there any quick questions before Dr. Willis hops off? But yes, thank you so much, Julian, for facilitating that conversation. Wonderful examples here with using ThingLink. So I do want to go over how to access ThingLink here at UDC.
I did have one
Dr.
quick
Carson?
I just think it was a fabulous presentation, everybody. And has he already left? Dr.
Yes.
Muller? Okay.
Yes.
Well, maybe another time to follow up. Never mind.
No problem. But thank you, everyone. So I do want to talk about how to access ThingLink, as well as use the 360-degree library that's available for us to use to make ThingLinks right away. So first, let me show you a quick video on how to access ThingLink, and I'll also walk through on how to access it as well in real time. To log into ThingLink, you can go to the ThingLink website at thinglink.com. Click on Login in the upper right corner. Next, choose the Microsoft Single Sign-On option right here. And now enter your UDC information.
David, you're coming in pretty faintly on my end.
The UDC sign-on page. What was that? I'll go ahead and click on yes.
The audio was very faint.
Oh, it's faint. Okay, let me go ahead and turn that up. Give me a second. ThingLink website at thinglink.com. Click on Login in the upper right corner. Next, choose the Microsoft Single Sign-On option right here. And now enter your UDC information. This will take you into the UDC sign-on page. I'll go ahead and click on yes. And now I am logged into our ThingLink account with UDC. Second, you can log into ThingLink using the Books and Tools feature on Blackboard Ultra. On the left-hand side of your course, click on Books and Tools and view Course and Institution Tools. On the right-hand side, scroll down, and you should see ThingLink towards the bottom. Click on the plus sign. If you do not see ThingLink here, click on Browse All Course Tools to find ThingLink. Once I click on the plus sign, I'm able to log into ThingLink from within Blackboard. I can also make this visible to students by clicking right here, and now students can also access it through this link. On the phone app, you can click on the ThingLink app and continue with Microsoft. That will take you to the single sign-on page. Once you click on that and sign in, you will now access your UDC ThingLink account. So those are three ways to access it, either from thinglink.com, through Blackboard integration, or you can also use the phone app. So I do want to show you very briefly on how to access it again from within Blackboard. I find that that's the really easy way to access it since I'm already signed into Blackboard. So as you can see, this is an example course that I have. If I go down to Books and Tools on the left-hand side, I should see ThingLink right here. I can click on that plus sign. Again, if you don't see ThingLink, just go ahead to Browse More. I can make this visible to students, and once I click here, that will take me to this ThingLink page. Right? Are there any questions I can answer before we move on?
A quick question.
Yeah, go ahead.
David, this is AD from English.
Hello.
So I wonder if the tool is in public domain and accessible to anyone who knows about it, or is this only the institutional teaching tool that is available to people who are in an institution?
Yeah, that's a great question. So the ThingLinks that you create, you are allowed to share those with anyone to view, but the license that we have has more access to more tools. So that includes making VR content as well as using the 360-degree library. But anyone can go ahead and sign up for a free account or free version of ThingLink. It's a more limited, but you can still create great content. But just with our license with ThingLink, we have access to a lot more.
So I was, what is intriguing to me in a weird way is that in a conversation on social justice, which is really the mission of public universities like ours, mapping a community and neighborhoods can have a serious fallout. In other
Mm,
words, it can be dangerously used to perpetuate redlining, to
mm,
justify gentrifying,
mhm,
and so many other social ills that divide us.
mhm,
So I'm really trying to think about the social responsibilities of users with tools and the ethics that come with it. Because the previous observations and the conversations that we shared was a fabulous presentation. There was a one thing that was coming to my sort of I have the tool on my phone, but I have been hesitant to use it simply because I do not know how it's going to end up getting used. Tools exist, but it's our personal responsibility as educators and learners to make them equitable um, avenues of arguing for social justice. And I don't know how this will play out really. But I have the tool. I've used it in ways. I'm thinking about mapping the city with water bodies and to use in my eco-criticism oriented class. But the presentation that I just saw, I'm piqued to think along other lines as well.
And I'll kind of just briefly answer your question before I get to you, Dr. Carson. I definitely think the context in which you are creating these assignments is very important for students. As we talked about the violence prevention, their context was specific to social disorganization, micro hotspots in their area. More so, and I hear what you're saying about the red line, and more so just to inform their supervisors of some of these areas that they will not normally frequent, and to see the data that backs behind a lot of these areas of gun violence and just violence in general, so that the proper resources can be allocated for those areas. But I do understand how you see it, that, or just the perspective of that, some of these same clips can be shown to say, hey, well, this is why this area needs to be redlined, or this is why this area needs to be gentrified. And I think when we're allowing our students to create these projects, we have to reinforce that kind of context with them. Hey, that this project, even though this is your reasoning for using this can also be taken out of context without the proper information that goes with it. And that kind of was going to lead me to a piece that I was going to talk about with Dr. Willis, that going forward with these ThingLinks, we would love to get students in One Button Studio with us, so they can provide their own context for these videos. They can create these videos and then be able to speak specifically about why I created this video, what problems am I hoping to address by creating this content, and what are some solutions that I have for it. That way, these specific videos without words and captions can't be necessarily taken out of context so much.
Okay.
Yeah, and just to follow up with Julian, I think that's such a great point, because ThingLink also allows students to create their own narrations for their content. They can also put a little informational blurb or video that also provides more context for the person that's viewing that ThingLink as well. And thank you, Julian, and thank you, AD, for that question.
Yeah. The legends. Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. There's a legend. There's a little information blurb you can also put, so someone knows exactly what they're looking at, what's the context, maybe why it was used in this class, or what they want to present, right? But thank you for that. Dr. Carson, go ahead.
I really value it being in a university, because people can express diverse views and diverse values, and sometimes values come into conflict. I think even tools of technology and educational technology can, in a sense, I think it's a valid question of, does providing this level of immersive information or additional visual facts, does it carry some risks by providing more information than one can, let's say, easily manage in terms of the narrative? I think the assumption of tools like ThingLink is more information is better, especially if it can be validated out through a community of discourse, and that information wants to be free. And if that means that the best way to help reduce people getting shot and killed is to provide more information, including the ugly side of life in DC, then all the better. And I totally applaud that use of the technology, because I really do believe the more information that's out there, the better. especially if it can be validated. I think you can lie about anything in any kind of a context, but to say that you might want to not use this tool because it might perhaps lead to some untoward ends, when that tool could be used to save lives, I mean, come on. I have a different opinion on that. But I can respect caution about use of any tool. But I think in this case, this ThingLink tool, as used in that program, that certificate program, is so exciting. It sort of begs the question, why aren't we using it more?
And that's a great segue, right? So we should use it more. And I think we could use it in different kinds of contexts. So for example, if I'm teaching an English class and I want one of my students to make a 360-degree photo that annotates maybe where a character is from or where a place that's talked about in that book, and then annotate that, that's an example of ThingLink, right? That is non-controversial. So that could be a way that you can use ThingLink in your class. It could also be just presenting a flat image with some hotspots. I've used this before to put pictures of my childhood or from my family memories, and then I can annotate that so people can learn more about me and my background, right? So that could be a way that I can use ThingLink as well, just to introduce myself as a person. But great, yeah, go ahead, Julian.
Oh, and just to add to that, David, and Dr. Carson, just to tag on your point a bit, that's why we as faculty and higher education community need to be very cognizant of what we're teaching our students as far as information literacy and being able to use information properly and to use it for the purpose of which you're using it for. I think that is a conversation that sometimes we kind of move past that, but any data can kind of be manipulated for any kind of context you want it to be used. So we make sure that we're providing our students the resources here at the university to be informationally literate so they know how to approach those different facets of data and presentation so that they are getting the best use of it. But thank you both for your points today.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Julian. So to progress, I just want to talk about the ThingLink 360-degree library that's available to us with our license. This already includes very high quality 360-degree images that you can start using right away. So I will talk about how to produce your own 360-degree photo sphere, but if you'd like to use the one that's already included, let's talk about it. So let me go ahead and go back to the ThingLink website. And you'll see here on the left, there's a 360-degree library. I also want to highlight right here, Learning Center. If I click on that, this has a bunch of different tutorials that's available for both you and your students that's very, very helpful for getting started. So what I'll do is I'll click on the 360-degree library, and I can choose one of these to start using right away. So let me go ahead and go to international capitals. And I see there are a bunch of different ones here I can use. Let me use the Vatican City one. So I'll go ahead and click on that. So here's already a high quality image that ThingLink includes in our license that we can start annotating and using right away and even view in VR. The way that I use this and copy it over is if I click on the three dots in the upper right corner, I'll click on clone. So clone means I'm making a copy for myself that I can start using. I'll go back to my main content screen, and you'll see I have the clone of Vatican City right here. So there's step one. Here's a 360-degree photo that I can go ahead and move around. I can look up and down. I can also view it in my VR headset. Now let me talk about some tags that you can put here. So adding tags is really where ThingLink's strength comes here. So we have that 360-degree photo, and there are 5 different types of tags you can add right away. The first one is adding text descriptions, images, GIFs, or video here. We saw some examples of this from the student-produced work of those hotspots. You can also record and add your own audio. So if you'd like to narrate it, you can just go ahead and click on the record function. You can narrate something right there. Number 2, you can just add plain text labels that are quite short for different parts of the image. You can also embed apps and tools. You can embed HTML codes. You can put a URL there. For example, if I want to have someone book a learning pod, I can put the learning pod link. They click on it, it'll take them directly there. And you can also link and create tours. What I mean by that is if you have a map, I can put different parts on that map. So let me go ahead and bring up an example of that. So here's a ThingLink that I created for the Center for Digital Access and Learning floor plan. And I can link different ThingLinks to this one image. This is the starting point. So for example, I made a 360-degree photosphere of one of our digital learning rooms. As you can see, I just clicked on it on the map. I can go back. It'll take me back to this map. So that's how I can link different ThingLinks together. I've seen some examples of this for art students where they have a virtual gallery. And then if you click on different pieces of art, that'll take you to a different ThingLink that that student created for their art piece. So that's a way that you can link it all together. And let me talk about the fifth tag. The fifth tag is you can also create quick anonymous polls. So if you look at this example, what topic did you enjoy the most? There's a quick anonymous poll there. So people that are seeing this ThingLink, you can also see how others thought about these different questions. So let me go over how to add about 2 tags to a ThingLink right away. So going back to the ThingLink page, you can see right here, I can start adding some tags by clicking on the edit button. So I'll go ahead and click on edit. And then you'll see right here on the left, I can add some tags for the Vatican. So let me go ahead and click here. I'll add a tag and I'll add text and media. And let me put a title for Vatican City. This is the center of Vatican City. And let's pretend I have a YouTube video. I can also add a link to that right here. So you can see there's a link. And I can also add my own media file. A great thing is this is already connected to Unsplash, so I can go ahead and add some stock images as well, or upload media from my computer. I'll go ahead and search for one, and I'll put Vatican City. And that will bring up a couple here. I'll put this right there. So in just a few seconds, I was able to create this tag with an image, with some text and a title, and also a hyperlink to a YouTube video. I can also change the layout for this tag. So I'll go ahead and click on Change Layout. And you can see there are some very eye-catching ones here. And let me go back to the Change Layout function. So let's use this one. I like this one. And I can also change the individual icon. Let me make it a plus sign. And I'll click on Done. So once that's done, I can go ahead and move it around here. There's also a grid that helps you. If I click on this little plus sign right underneath, I can also kind of make a tail. So there you go. So there's my tag right away. I'll click on Done. And now you can see as I move around, if I click on this tag, that'll give me that information that I just created. Let's talk about Blackboard integration next. Once I click on Share right here, you'll see some different types of ways to share this link. I'll go ahead and share the link in the chat box right now. But let's talk about embedding this into your Blackboard course as content. So I'll go back and I'll click on Embed on Website. That will give me this HTML code. I'll go ahead and copy that. And let's go back to my Blackboard course. So I'll go ahead and make a new content page. And I'll title this Vatican City ThingLink. And I'll go ahead and go to Add HTML. And then I'll paste that. So as you can see on Blackboard, it's embedded right there as a content piece. I can do several students as well. And then as you can see, there's my ThingLink with the tag I created just in a couple minutes. So that's a way that you can integrate and start using ThingLink right away. Any questions or comments to add for this? Excellent. So next, I'll talk about how to use Google Street View to create your own 360-degree content. Again, for this, you can watch along with me live or in this recording. You do need ThingLink. I do recommend having ThingLink, the app, on your phone. It's free. Use your UDC email and login credentials to access the UDC license for that. Also, Google Street View, that's another free app. I have both of these on my phone. So what I'll do first is, here's a quick example of a ThingLink I made in my neighborhood in Arlington. This photo I took with my phone. And with Google Street View, it really does a great job of capturing this image. So that's exactly what the students did for mapping out those hotspots of DC. So using the Google Street View app, I'm going to walk you through step by step. Then I'll show you a video in real time how I did this. So first step is on your phone or on your tablet, you open that Google Street View app. And then you click on the camera icon in the lower right corner to take a photo sphere. They have really improved this technology in the past 2 years. So when you do create that photo sphere, it really stitches that photo very well, and it really works seamlessly within ThingLink. So once I click on that Take Photo Sphere, you'll see on your phone, there's a little orange dot. All you have to do, you don't have to keep clicking it, you just move your phone around. What works best for me is I'll go ahead and do it on this horizontal plane first, then I'll do it up, I'll do it down. Once that's all complete, you'll see a little check mark at the very bottom. That means you have that full photo sphere. But just remember, as a photo sphere, it's above, below, and then all around you, just like this. I should have done a little spin. After your photo is done processing, click on that up arrow and the share privately option. You can share this to Google Street View for other users to see, but if you'd like to just share it for yourself to use for ThingLink, that's completely fine. You'll share privately. And again, I know these are a lot of steps. Feel free to go ahead and contact us if you do have any questions. I'll put our email there. It's calhelpdesk@udc.edu. And we would be more than happy to walk you through this. Once you save that image to your camera roll, you have that photosphere image that you can start using in ThingLink. Now I open up my ThingLink app on my phone. I click on the plus sign. And the media that I'm creating is called a 360-degree image or virtual tour. Once I go ahead and click on that, I'm able to upload from my device and choose that photo, and I can start annotating it directly. It's ready to go. You can annotate it from your phone with the app or on your computer once it's uploaded. Let me show you in real time, and I'll walk you through this again, how this looks like. So I click on that Google Street View app on my phone, and I click on that photo sphere in the lower right corner. Once I click on that, you'll see I have that orange image or the orange ball. I'll just go ahead and keep moving it around. Let me speed this up so it doesn't take 2 minutes. But as you can see, I'm doing that horizontal plane first, and then I'll move up and I'll move down. And I'll keep doing that until that check mark on the very bottom turns green. That means it has all the images it needs to stitch it. And it does a really great job now of stitching this image really cleanly. So there you go, I'm on the bottom, almost done. And the cool thing, it also takes out my feet from the picture and that shadow, right? One more. So once that's finished, you'll see that green check mark. I'm complete. I'll go ahead and click on that. Now it'll start processing that photo, which I can save to my camera roll. Once that's saved, you'll see that image. And I'll share that privately. Saving the image to my camera roll. And then once I open up ThingLink, click on the plus sign and 360-degree image or virtual tour. I can upload this image from my device. So you'll see right there, I'll click on that. And then once it's done, I can start annotating it directly from the phone app, or I can use it on my computer. And let me go ahead and open this exact image for you. So if I go back to my ThingLink page right here. And that was a really sunny day in Arlington over the summer. So right here, you can see I'm back at my ThingLink page. I'll click right there. And there's my image that I just took from my phone. I added a couple hotspots here, but as I move it around, remember, look at how cleanly that's stitched. And then we can also view this in VR. So that's how the students created their own 360-degree photosphere with Google Street View. Right? Again, if I do want to integrate this into Blackboard, if I go to the share option, I'll click on embed on website, copy that, and I'll go back to my Blackboard page. And let me add it to here. So I'll go ahead and click on the plus sign, add HTML, copy and paste. And there you go. So there are my 2 ThingLinks I created right away on my Blackboard page. So if you are creating your own ThingLinks or having your students do this, that's a way that you can also embed that onto Blackboard. Perfect. So I do want to show you, ThingLink does offer a great course where you can get a little mini certificate. And this is the ThingLink Creator course. I'm going to put this in the chat box as well. but super helpful resource here. So it does have a little path that you can take, and let me share it on the screen with you. There are 10 different modules here that will walk you through on how to start using ThingLink. I do encourage everyone here to start doing this introduction and doing these modules. It doesn't take too much time. Once you are finished with that, you do get a 3D badge. I added that to my email signature, but it's a great way to just get more used to ThingLink and really take advantage of all the functions that are there. And with that, I do want to stick around for a bit if you do have any questions for Julian or I before we conclude. And I'll go ahead and put some information there. We have our CAL team help desk email. If you have any questions or want to meet with us, feel free to go ahead and do that. Our office hours and PD, we have a great PD next week, 2 of them. On the 15th for accessibility, we'll introduce you to the Accessibility Resource Center and some of the programs that they offer and resources there. And next Thursday at the same time, just a week from now, we have our WebEx Updates webinar. That's with the CAL team. We'll go over some of the recently rolled out updates with WebEx and really ensure that you're taking advantage of everything that's offered there. Julian, any final thoughts?
None at all. This has been a great presentation. If you have any questions about how this can be specifically integrated into your course and your content, if you're like, I don't know where I can find a spot for this, I'm pretty sure if you meet with one of us, we can definitely help you on figuring out the best way to align this to your learning outcomes and your course objectives.
Yeah, and think about different ways you want your students to present their information. I really like that Julian mentioned earlier, if you do have a student that produced a ThingLink, right, let's say of a hotspot in their area or maybe somewhere they have memories from, they can also present this using the One Button Studios, and that could be a great video for your classroom, for their presentation. So thank you again, everyone, for your great questions and conversations today. We really had a great time going over ThingLink, and we hope that you start using it for your course. And if you do have any questions, just email us, calhelpdesk@udc.edu. We wish you have a great 3-day weekend, and we hope to see you very soon. Bye-bye, everyone.
Peace.